Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first time we've ever done this kind of episode. And it's just us talking about what we just talked about, but a little different because it's more personal and stories of what we just kind of watched, and a little deep dive into how what we just watched affected us and all that jazz. I am one of your hosts. My name is Eric, and the other host is
Daniel. Dan the
Hey,
man.
Dan
Danny
the man.
Danny Love.
Oh, well, hello. How's your week been?
Dude, it's been good. So I moved on to a new schedule. I moved on to 410s. If anyone hasn't done that, it's 4 days a week, 10-hour days. You get 3 days off. It's what my boy
10
Eric's been
times
doing.
better. It's 10 times better.
Oh, I used to be on 410s and now I moved back to it. I love it.
410s is the best shift you can possibly work.
It is. I mean, no shift is the best shift you could possibly work, but it's a good substitute. Having 3 days off is awesome. And so Friday, I did a handful of things. I got my hair cut.
Nice. I like it cut, G.
I now have short hair, real short hair. You got a fade on
Short?
the sides.
Hey.
And it's short on the top. The long hair down to my shoulders is gone.
It's all gone. He said I got prepared for summer.
70s porn star Dan is gone.
Oh, no more facial hair?
No more
But
facial hair there. Got a clean cut. I mowed my lawn.
Wait a minute. Sorry. You were just talking about hair.
Yeah.
And then you said, innuendo, I mowed my lawn, so it was like,
Oh,
what are you talking about?
And I cut
It's
my
just
grass too.
I didn't want to know it. I was just making a joke, but thank you for the information, friend.
But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
that was
man.
nice. What about you?
That's what's up. Dude. Good old night shift, man.
How was
Working?
Vampire Eric?
Huh?
How was Vampire Eric?
Vampire Eric is good. Vampire Eric is good. I went to a concert recently. So my roommate, housemate, whatever you want to call him, my buddy, he's in a band named Harley. Small shameless plug. Harley was not available on Instagram. They recently just had a show at Barboza in Seattle, and it was dope. It was really, really cool. I liked it. I normally hear all of their songs like in the apartment, of course, because that's like the studio,
Yeah.
and being able to hear it in front of the people who listen to them, like on Spotify and all that other jazz, like true, like good fans of them. I was just like, whoa, they have a following. This is sick.
Dude, that's super cool.
Yeah, so it was really, really cool.
Was it
And
was it a nice show up? Like a good amount of people came out?
Yeah, it was a good amount of people.
That's awesome.
I also got to be introduced to another artist. His name is Sam Parker. He plays like jazz, kind of rock, kind of not country, but like folk music, which is right up my alley. Like, dude, and live, it was so good, dude. It was so much fun. So yeah, did that. Now I really, really enjoyed that. It was a good social outing that I probably desperately needed, because I am, like you said, a vampire. So even though it was at night, being out in public was really cool. I ran into some of my friends that I went to school with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Over in the internship, so I got to catch up with some of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, it was cool. It was really, really fun. It made me just wish that I had a day job, because as much as I don't like interacting with people, I miss it.
Yeah, dude. You need to find a job.
And I got a VIP bracelet too, so I got to go like backstage and like sit in the green room and like hang out with both bands and like you know, be invisible.
Special.
No, well, yeah, I was special, but for no reason. It was nice.
That's awesome, dude.
It was really, really cool. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm glad that your VIP was better than my VIP. Dude, so I went to, about a month ago, I went to go see Modest Mouse in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And before the concert, when I purchased my tickets back in, like, January, I bought, a specific seat because they had you buy seats, and it was like it wasn't a cheap seat. It was a pretty expensive seat. It wasn't like a $300 seat. It was like a $90 seat, but you could buy seats for like $20. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And I bought it with the VIP package, so then I could go to a private bar with a private bathroom.
Nice cleanliness, good shit.
And it was like pretty. It was like a nice, closer to the front middle area.
Yeah.
And then they changed the venue like a couple weeks before the concert happened. And let me put it this way. I loved Modest Mouse. It was a great experience, great band, great performance. I'm still a little pissed that my VIP ticket gave me literally nothing.
That's stupid.
There was a bar, but it was a bar for anyone. I didn't care too much about that, but it was more annoying that I paid for a bar, but everyone got a bar, and I paid for a bathroom, and there was no special bathroom. It was just a public bathroom. That's not too terrible. Those two things I could easily get over. This is what really pissed me off.
What got him.
Is the fact I paid for a specific seat,
and you didn't get the viewing you got. Or
no.
Were expecting.
You know what it was?
Huh.
There was a section where the pit was.
Yeah.
And anyone who bought pit tickets went up there. Which I'm not surprised. That's how the pit usually works.
Yeah.
And then anyone else who bought a non-pit ticket was behind the pit. And there was no seats. It was stand and just pile in. So pretty much my special seat, like the seat I purchased, meant nothing, and I could have bought a $20 seat that would have been the same exact,
like a $90 seat.
Yeah, that would have gotten me the same exact experience.
Yeah, dude. I wonder if they changed venues because of ticket sales.
Probably, but it's kind of shit that it happened that way.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. That's rough.
Especially because then I got like 40-year-old men who were 5'8", scowling at me and being rude and like
I can't see.
Yeah, no joking. I was trying to move my way because I'm used to rave festivals where everyone does not give a shit and everyone's
Mr. Bass Canyon.
Everyone's super like happy and they don't care if you move in front of them. They're like, yeah, dude, you go ahead, you go to the rail, man.
It's because they're on drugs. Go ahead.
And yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to move my way to the rail, and get closer to the action.
I just want to breathe.
And I had one guy, as I moved past him, he looks at me. He's like, "You're not gonna move right in front of me, are you?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm moving right there." He's like, "Okay." And I'm like looking, like he's like 5 inches shorter than me. I'm like, "Dude, it's like stop being such a prune. Like you could look around me."
It's like, you listen here, short stack.
Like you're 40 years old.
Snubbed.
You're 40 years old and acting like this is like the end of the world. Like, come on, man, grow up. And then I try to move by another guy, and he's like, "Oh, you're trying to make it towards the bar?" I'm like, "No, like right in front of you, right there." And he's like, "No." It's just like, no, and I was like, "I'm just trying to go there," and he's like, "No, man." And I'm like. And he wouldn't let me make it through. I'm like, whatever. And I just turned around and went back to my spot. And I was like, you guys are
bunch of dicks.
Yeah, a bunch of dicks. And I'm just here to enjoy Modest Mouse. I will just sit here and enjoy it with my drink.
Yeah. Well, man. But hey, you got to see Modest Mouse.
Oh, it was awesome.
Across the country.
the band was amazing. The band was awesome. Like
That's
it
what's
was
up.
It was a great band experience. The music was great. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad experience. It just had a couple things that were not ideal.
Not favorable.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, we just got done, like, literally, like, 12 minutes ago.
It'll be 3 days for you, but 12 minutes for us.
Suckers time dilation. What's gonna happen next? We just got done recording Monday's episode, which is about the social dilemma, talking about statistics and like how social media has impacted kind of specifically Gen Z, and not only that, but like how it has impacted the world and how it changes politics and how it changes like radical groups and extroverts and introverts and you know, mental well-being, and it's just a bunch of stuff, and it's a lot to take in just like a review. So because Daniel and I are cool, awesome, big brain thinkers, we're like, hey, why don't we make a longer episode and start to do this more often? Because you and I both like long form content. We like to just sit with people and listen, feel a part of the group. And so we are now doing that. And it's going to be about our social dilemmas, kind of like what we experience through the lens of social media and like how it impacts us. But not only that, just like, you know, just kind of life. A good old kind of catch-up episode with a theme prompt. You know?
And this week's prompt is about the first prompt in this week. And if it's fitting because our first episode of the Noted Podcast ever was about social media. So it's fitting that the first new episode format we have is about social media. And so this one is going to be like where the social dilemma episode that was released on Monday for our movie of the week was more of us talking about specific parts of that and quoting people and talking about the overall arcing
more of a
theme.
review.
Yeah, this is going to be more of us just talking about our own experience, like you were saying. And so I'm excited to dive into that. I think my first thought was the way young kids are affected by social media and the fact that Gen Z was the first generation to have social media while they're in middle school.
The first lab rat.
Oh, dude, and I can tell you, it definitely.
Yeah, you more than me, man. Like, I'm a late bloomer with social media. Like, I didn't get a phone until I was 16. So.
Oh yeah.
And even when I got my phone, like, it wasn't a smartphone. It was like a slide phone, and so like I didn't even have like internet access. The only internet access I had was at school. And so it was either writing a paper or cool math games, you know?
Well, and I didn't get my first phone until I was in 8th grade. So I was like, I was like 14.
Yeah.
I didn't get my first phone until I was 14. Well, my first smartphone. My first phone I got in 6th grade when I was like 12. But it was a slide phone that didn't have apps. My friend, when I was like in 8th grade or 7th, no, when I was in 7th grade, so when I was 13, my friend gave me her old smartphone. And so I used it as an iPod pretty much. I used it.
Same.
I used it to download apps and stuff like that. So it wasn't like a phone, but I still had like Snapchat and stuff on there.
Yeah.
And before that, though, when I was on Facebook, because my first social media until I got that phone when I was in 7th grade was only Facebook, and it was because I just used it on my computer at home.
Yeah.
And the amount of time I'd spend on my computer at home just on Facebook
sitting staring at a screen
was
not
bad
healthy
news.
for an adolescent's
Bears.
mind.
No, I mean I already spent a lot of time staring at a screen, but now
Playing
I was
video
able,
games.
and watching TV shows. But now I had a new opportunity to sit and stare at a screen and compare myself to others and be worried about my like ratio and my followers to following ratio and
Oh God.
Oh yeah. It was uber
the
healthy.
plethora of anxiety that comes along with trying to display your life. Um, to no one who cares.
I used to be so obsessed with my like to follower ratio, and specifically, I was like so proud of the fact that I had more. Like I went out of my
more
way.
followers than following.
Yeah, I went out of my way to cap who I followed, so then I was never following more people than I had followers.
Had to keep that good. Had to keep the good KD.
I had to keep that good ratio. That good ratio. Dude, it was so unhealthy. And like I just don't want to know how the generation, like the younger, cuz we're like the older part of Gen Z.
I know I am too. No, I know I am too. I know I am. But when it comes to integration to social media, like I said, like I'm a late bloomer.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I had an old iPhone as well that I just used as an iPod, and even then I only used it for like YouTube and stuff like that. Like, and it was like as a guest YouTube. Just because all growing up, like I never had internet at my house growing up, ever. So like I didn't know how to set up any of that kind of stuff.
It wasn't like something you were involved in then.
Yeah, no. And like everything that like my mom always talked about, she was just like, yeah, no, like that stuff's just really bad. Like she didn't even want us going on YouTube. Like My mom was really against all of that kind of stuff.
Good for your mom, dude.
I know. Why? I don't know. Why. And dude,
your mom had the forethought of a genius. Like, holy moly.
She did.
Because I had a Club Penguin account when I was 6.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude. No. I didn't have like anything. And then after I turned 16, got that phone. And then when I got that phone, I also ended up like a couple like months later or however long, I don't know, I ended up getting in a relationship. And then that person was like, you know, you should set up an Instagram and all that jazz. And so I did. And, you know, because that was also the same time that I'm getting all confused. So the first time that I got an account was the same time that I got an iPhone that I used as an iPod, and that was in 2016 or 2017. Summer of 2016 is when I set up my first Instagram.
It was the summer of 2016.
It was the summer of 69.
Dude.
But yeah, I was a late bloomer into all this stuff, so like it never really affected me because I didn't know how to use it. But now, as me going through all the trauma that I've been through, fuck, you know, no thanks.
Yeah, I kind of what brought that tangent on, cause yeah, dude, if I knew what social media was gonna bring when I was a child, like if I knew the effects overall,
Oh yeah, the age-old question: if you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing, what would you say?
Yeah.
Don't make a Club Penguin account.
But what I was gonna say though is our generation was, because we're at like the beginning of Gen Z. We're like at the older half of Gen Z, the older part.
Yeah, we're technically the beginning, aren't we?
I think the beginning is like 94 or 96.
I think it's 96.
So it's within like 3 years.
Yeah, because I was born in 98 and you're born
99.
99. Yeah, so we're pretty at the beginning of Gen Z.
Exactly, and so I can't imagine what it's like for the younger part of our generation who's grown up with only social media.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, because I think us, Age range, right? Okay. Yeah, this says Gen Z is 97 to 2012.
Okay,
so we are the beginning of Gen Z.
Yeah.
And
dude, we're gonna be like
are
those like old ass millennials.
I mean, I personally feel like I fall under millennial.
You relate to them more?
I do. Only because I don't really have a lot of friends my age, and I tend to like it's just older people in general. Like, I've always kind of been that way, just because I just feel like people my age and younger are just like, why are you stupid?
Well,
you know? I don't know why.
I also feel like there's just so much about Zoomer culture that I don't understand, because I'm not in school anymore, and I haven't been in school for so long. So like, there's a lot of like the way that they talk and stuff that I think is funny, but also makes me cringe. And like, I feel like Zoomer culture has like such like a depressive crackhead energy to it, where they're like uberly like hyperactive mixed with a dose of like
depression
and like existential nihilism.
Dude, I like Green Day.
And like it's such a weird combination that I relate to, because like I went through that phase and also kind of act that way, but I feel like I'm more, like you said, I relate more to a lot of like the millennial culture, and like the stuff that I guess quote unquote millennials like. But that's because all my siblings are all millennials, and exactly. So like I grew up liking and watching the things they liked. And even though I do relate to Gen Z in some ways, there's just a lot of it I was just like, I was not around for this. I was too old for this, or when I was young enough for that, I was enjoying something else.
Yeah, and it's just really weird, because us growing up, we saw the rise of social media. Like, by 2009, I was 11, right? And that's when like the first big like kind of social media stuff started to happen.
Yeah, that's when a lot of the companies were either being created or had been around for a couple years at that point.
And started to really pick up.
Yeah, because I think Twitter was made in 07 or 08, and it picked up really quickly after being made. I remember my brother having Twitter on his old sliding phone, and he didn't even have like an app or anything. He would just use
web browser.
Nah, he would text his updates.
Whoa.
Right? Isn't that wild, dude? Isn't that wild?
It's more crazy because your brother's not that. How old's your brother?
David was born in...
I put you on the spot. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I do want you to blank out his name, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
But he was born in 94.
Oh, he's the same age as my sister. 27, 28?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, dude. Seeing the rise of... And we've briefly like kind of talked about this in the first social shows of madness, or social TV show of madness, or whatever our very first upload was. Seeing the rise of how every human interacts now, and like being a child, and at least for me, because I wasn't 6 when I made a Club Penguin account. Like, that
was the start of my video game.
That was the start of the addiction. That was your first shot of heroin. Sorry.
Oh, sweet baby.
A horrible joke.
No, that was my first taste of that. That good.
He said, "You gotta make a decision, and I gotta eat."
Oh, dude. Oh.
So, yeah, dude.
I will say
it's so crazy.
It is. And like you were
that's
like
really the only thing I can say.
Well, like you were kind of saying before we kind of tangented off of into that good was it is crazy to see how it's changed the way we interact with each other as humans on a day to day. Like something
moment to moment.
The way they meant something they mentioned in the social dilemma is that Gen Z has more on case by cases more anxious than the past generations.
And less driver's license.
Yep.
Like it takes us longer to get them.
And we have less romantic relationships, or are more afraid to take risks like in our daily life to make those romantic relationships. Like I feel like a lot of people are like are getting those relationships through social media, meeting there or meeting like on Tinder or something, and aren't doing it like
and that's
and
just
not meeting through like, oh, I saw you at like the coffee shop or like at a restaurant and thought you were cute, so I'm gonna like try to spark something up and talk to you, which is just a wild concept to think of.
It's
which, I mean, I fall into that. I'm not gonna act like I'm the 1%. Like, I mean,
I am the 1%.
The last person I was romantic with, I met on Tinder. The last person I had sexual interaction with, I met on Instagram. Like, there's people I didn't meet that way that I've been romantic with that I was organically met, but also
it's just so much easier the other way.
I've also used the machine, so like
of course you have. Dude, I've never used any type of like social dating app or like, slid into the DMs type shit. Ever.
Don't.
I'm not going to. Every time I think about trying to use that as like a way to get into a relationship, it just makes me go like this. I know what my age range thinks about most of the time. And that's, how can I fill this hole inside of me?
Sex. Giggity.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. And so, like, I know I would probably say, 90% of the time, most Tinder dates are probably just going to end in, like, are we fucking or not? Like, can we quit the small talk? Like, is this gonna happen? Like,
and that's why it's funny because there's like dating apps out there that are like the relationship dating apps. They're not dating apps meant to
Christian Mingle.
Yeah, well, we're farmers only. Because the city folk just don't understand.
Farmers only
Oh, you know the jingle.
Of course I do, dude.
Because city folk just don't understand. But like, there's other dating apps like Bumble and stuff that are meant to be like more. Dude,
there's a million.
Like they're meant to be like more like relationship dating apps instead of like just fucking. But even on Tinder, you have people in their bio who are like
just want to fuck.
There's people who are like not looking for anything serious. If you want something, swipe left. And then there's people who are like not looking just to fuck, wanting something serious. So like people are like aware of like
but
the
like
climate.
Even that, like I am not a person. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not a person who would go on a date and put out on the first date kind of thing. And like I feel like most of our generation.
You ain't easy.
Yeah, no, hell no. I'm a cheap date, but ain't no one getting in my pants first date. Ever.
Yeah, I'd like to say I'm not someone who would do that, but I know.
Yeah, you're a liar. You're a liar.
I totally would.
You're a liar.
I'm easy.
Yeah,
I'm not that easy, but I'm easy. I'm easy.
No,
going.
But I think if you were to be given an opportunity, you'd be like,
hell yeah, like 100%.
Like, when's the next time gonna happen?
Yeah, dude. Like, if someone was that forward with me, I'd be like, well, shit, what are we standing around for?
No, exactly. And in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, no thanks. I'm not trying to waste my time with someone who's not gonna, want me. That's also just self-worth and self-confidence.
Yeah. Everyone has different standards.
Exactly. But like, dude, it's just so weird that social media has brought on like that, like, and this is just like that aspect, that one rabbit trail that social media has done to our generation. Well,
it's that with the combination of how sex is so like sex sells.
Exactly.
And that's always been a thing in like TV shows and movies, but it's been amplified even more so recently.
That's just what it's been.
And you can literally just
history.
Google porn. You can just Google porn right now. You literally have porn at your fingertips all the time. If you want to be horny, you can be horny. If you want to get off, you can get off. And so
by yourself.
That yeah, exactly. Please don't do that in a public place. Please. I'm not saying go on a bus and be like looking up.
No, that's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna be like,
please. The dude from Noted said I could do it. Oh,
he gave me permission.
But like that, plus the fact, like you're saying, like our generation is so like the concept of like texting someone, like meeting someone on like social media and then texting them every day, all day, and then not having that like human like a good like. Social media has become our normal human interaction instead of face-to-face human interaction.
Yes, it has become our communication.
And I do want this to be clear. I don't think social media is inherently an evil tool. I think as a tool, it has a lot of benefit. I think we're subsetting it for actual human interaction, and that's the dangerous part, is we're substituting it for what should be real interaction. It should be a tool to help us have interaction with people we can't see often, or people that we like. You get to reconnect with lost family members, meet new people across the world. Like there's so many beautiful parts of social media.
Upside galore.
Yeah, it's just scary when it's not being used. It's being used
when
for
the
that
upside is
more.
Everything else.
Yeah, well, and I wrote a paper about it, and someday, like if we keep doing this in 10 years, I feel like there's just going to be a running joke about how much you bring up this dumb college paper I wrote. But I wrote
dumb, dude.
I wrote a paper about social media, and that was the thing. Like I talked about it a lot. Is like it should not be used as a substitute for like human interaction, and we're teaching our kids to do that.
Yeah, and grown adults,
and also
rewiring. How 40-year-old people go day to day, whether it's through social media or just screen time in general. I don't want to just talk about like how social media has affected me, but I also want to talk about like the amount of screen time I induce to myself, because if I'm not on social media scrolling for no reason, just to dopamine hit myself for hours,
how many times have you scrolled in bed for like 3 hours
recently?
Well,
no.
it was more
no. Overall 15 days.
Oh yeah, dude,
why not 15 days?
It's so bad.
Horrible. But I'm also talking about like just screen time in general.
Yeah. Like daily screen time.
If I'm not scrolling, I will be watching a TV show on one of the 15 million apps that is a streaming service. I will be playing a video game that I've already played, beat, and play again. Or I find entertainment in it, and that is good. But there is a point of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Overstimulation?
No, a distraction. It distracts me from what a real life should be.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Because I'm a human. Should a human spend every waking minute behind a screen playing video games with company that I love? And I want to do that as much as I can, because it falls in the same aspect of being able to talk to people who I can't see physically, so I can have this entertainment with them, separately. Great. But that shouldn't be all the time. That it shouldn't be me. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Cool.
It's not bad to want to watch TV shows or to
play video games
to relax. It just shouldn't be like something that's everything always.
That
for example,
overtakes
your
the
life.
Perception of what makes you you.
Yeah, and for example, something I'm really wanting to work on now is I go to bed watching TV shows. I'm gonna really try not to do that anymore because I go to bed with my TV on, and I usually wake up, and the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up is throw a video on, so then I have something going on to entertain me while I'm getting dressed. Bro, I need something to entertain me while I do the mundane things of life. How bad is that? How starved of dopamine is my brain that I can't do something as simple as dressing myself without needing
being stimulant.
Yeah. Exactly. And so those are some things those are two aspects of my life I'm trying to reel back from. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
I will say, yesterday, I needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. So I went on a walk and went to a bar at our local, a local market.
Yeah.
And I was going to sit at the bar and hopefully talk to someone, but the bar was already filled up. I'm like, I'll just sit at a table by myself. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm at a table by myself. I'll get something to drink, and then I'll just watch some videos. And I ended up watching 4 or 5, 30, no, more like 4. I was there for 2 hours, 4 30-minute long videos. And and I had a great time. I was laughing my ass off. I ordered 4 drinks. I was pretty tipsy by the time I left, and I ate food. But I went there wanting to get human interaction. I ended up really, I got a little bit here and there, but for the most part was just watching shit on my phone. And to be honest, I don't regret it. I went out. I got to see people. On my way back, I bought some art from a museum. Does part of me kind of wish I would have interacted with people more? Yeah, but at the same time, I more or less wanted to just
tiny steps.
It was tiny steps, and I more or less just kind of wanted to be by myself at that point. I just wanted to be by myself around people.
Yeah. And see, I think that in retrospective, cold turkey detoxing, I think that what you just did is baby steps towards something that is really beneficial. Because I do that. I before we watched the Social Dilemma and then podcasted, I went out and got pizza. And I sat in the restaurant and ate pizza by myself, watched a YouTube video, and then when I was done eating, I dipped, right? And then I went and got coffee, and then I came back and did this. Did I talk to anybody? No. But I was in a social situation where if someone were to have approached me, I would have been fine with starting a conversation. And I think that's a really good thing to start doing, is to just instead of door dashing, right?
Yeah.
It's why don't you walk somewhere that you can get food, have human interaction, and even if it's just, hey, I would like a number 3 with a this and a that. Super small interaction. But, baby steps. We can't just cold turkey, because cold turkey can really frick people up.
Well, and most of the time when I go out and stuff, to restaurants and stuff by myself, I normally, or a bar, I normally don't sit on my phone the whole time. I normally talk to the waitress or people around me. But yesterday I was in a mood, so I kind of wanted to be around people, but I also kind of didn't want to. It was funny though, me and my waitress had a funny exchange. I was a couple beers in, so I was a little bit looser at this point. But me and my waitress had a funny exchange where I recognize the whole time that she came up to me. Every time she came up to me, I looked at her face. I'm like, I know her. I just don't know how I know her. but I know her face.
Yeah.
It's like we weren't really around each other that much. We were like around each other and passing a lot. And I think we ran in similar circles, but we never interacted with each other enough for me to know her name. But I just know I saw her face quite often.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's been a while since it. And at first,
it's been a while.
The whole time I was like, I know her from school. Because I went to a school of like 300 people. I'm like, I know her. She went to my school. And my school's so small that it's, when you ask, oh, did you go to this school? They'll be like, yeah.
I knew you.
And then both of us will be like, okay, yeah, that's how we know each other. So when she came by one of the times, I was like, hey, this might be a weird question. But
did you go to the school?
I was like, did you go to, and I say my school, and she's like, no, I went to the biggest school in our area. And I was like, huh. Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't go to that school. I don't know how I know you then. But then I was like, yeah, that's weird. I just recognize your face. I don't know where. I just know your face. And she's like, same. I recognize your face too. But when you came in, I was like, I know him. How do I know him? So we both recognized each other, but had no clue. And we ran through like 2 or 3 different things.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 different like social circles.
Yeah.
And none of them lined up. Like neither of them did. And we're like, huh, oh well. And then she went off and continued working. I'm like, so we both know we knew each other, but we have no clue how we know each other.
Calling it romantic. Eric says rolls dice. Soulmates. Kidding.
No.
In a past life, across stars abound.
In a past life, we were cross-stars lovers. Her family was the Montagues. Romeo and Juliet, but no. But no, it was just a funny little interaction I had yesterday.
Yeah, man. No, I get that. Like when I every morning when I get off of work, I walk across the parking lot because there's a like little coffee hut shop drive-through thing, and I go every morning to get hot chocolate before I go to bed because, nice warm drink, soothe the brain, let me chill out for a minute while I drink hot cocoa, and then I'll fucking pass out. And I sometimes will either have like a 5-minute little chat, or I'll stand there and talk for like 10 or 15 and just talk about how my night went, or like cool things that are coming up that I'm going to be going to, or like, just small talk. And, same is reciprocated from other end of just like, life updates and just kind of like, cool,
Yeah.
And I think that just like those small like moments that, a lot of people probably overlook is what a lot of people need.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, we're so stimulated with seeing what we wish our life was, or seeing like watching YouTubers or Twitch streamers or actors or famous people watch things, and it's like people become so obsessed with their favorite YouTuber that they're like, oh yeah, we're best friends, but they don't even know you, and then they feel lonely and they're ignoring like the daily interaction they could have had. Like,
exactly.
Something that
May I pause?
Yeah.
You keep talking. Your boy has to urinate.
So, like I was saying, something that I was reminded of by
thing.
No, that wasn't what I was trying to do. But I was just doing noises.
You were rewinding. I know what you were doing, but it reminded me of the. No, wrong one.
Go ahead, you're talking about when they do like the scene changes. I know.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah. So when something that reminded me of was when I was a kid. This is gonna be really cringy. Okay, vulnerable time. I was in like middle school, maybe like late middle school, like 8th grade, probably maybe 9th grade. And I think it was 9th grade. Yeah, it was 9th grade. And I posted on Instagram like a dumbass, because I feel like not everyone's done this, but when you know who you are when you've done this. And I posted, sometimes I just feel so lonely.
I'm feeling down in the dirts today.
Yeah, when
I don't know if I'll make it tomorrow.
You know, like how some people like post things on social media where it's like either this person needs massive help or they're searching for attention, and sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
And I posted on social media that I felt so lonely, and someone in my class, which by the way, I lived in a town of 1,000 people. My class was my class from literally kindergarten all the way until I graduated was like 22 people, so we all knew each other very well. Commented, "This is so funny." And I was so hurt by that. I was like, dude, are you laughing at the fact that I'm like really
that I'm in pain?
Yeah, that I'm in pain and feel isolated and lonely. Which in reality, like in a way, yes, I did truly feel lonely. Like those emotions were real, but in reality, I wasn't really that lonely. I had a lot of friends that I could hang out with whenever I wanted to, and I had a group. I had a lot of people in my life. But I felt uber isolated because instead of spending time with them daily, I was looking at social media, seeing a life I wish I had and didn't had.
Exactly.
So that is a way that I feel like it kind of fudged with my brain.
I just sent you something. You're welcome.
What?
I did the same thing. I my old Instagram account. In black text it says, "Are you okay?" ? And then below it says, "Yeah, just tired." And then around it, all highlighted, or all faded out, it says, "Mess, depression, depressed, freak, failure, crushed, defeated, angry, rejected, disgust, English, broken, ruined, sad." And that's all I put. And then the only comment was, "Text me if you need anything."
I think we're past that part, buddy.
Facts.
But that's nice that they at least tried to like reach out to you.
No, exactly. And
yeah, and I'm not trying to laugh at that. Sorry. That wasn't me laughing at you.
That was angst. That was angst teenage Eric. It's fine. No, I think that's where a lot of social media is disgusting. And it's just like trolls, dude. Like people who are just like find amusement in tears and pain, and like, you know, they got bullied or neglected as a child, and that's just kind of a statistical fact. I'm not trying to say that as like a slight or anything, or whatever you want to call it. Like most people who bully people have been bullied, you know, bullies bully or bullied bullies or whatever.
Everyone has every bully has a bigger bully.
Yeah, everybody's got a demon kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just okay, I play this video game called Battlefront 2. And sometimes Daniel and I play this game. And sometimes Daniel and I wreck people. And sometimes Daniel and I get wrecked. I get messages from random people. And I'm chalking this up to social media because it is. I get messages from people saying like trash, garbage, like you should uninstall the game, like why are you playing, like quit being a bitch.
Like if you've ever played in a Call of Duty lobby, you know exactly
you know, just people hating you for your play style when you're just trying to have fun playing with a friend. And they just want to shit on you, either because you're quote unquote bad, or you played the game incorrectly.
You played the game in a way that they didn't want.
They didn't like, so they felt the need to lash out and be crude and rude. That's the part of social media, and in general, I will just say human interaction, that I don't understand. I don't understand the need of lashing out towards people who are like, if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to tell them why I don't like them. I'm just going to not talk to them, because why would I keep them in or around me if I don't want them around me?
If you don't
like in my circle, or you know,
yourself with them.
Exactly. And I think social media in general has like dulled that.
Well, also like there.
Oh, I'm saying like
people don't. You don't have to deal with him face to face, so people get much more brave.
Yeah. Well, but what I'm saying is like I think it has dulled the sense of human interaction to where it's like we will put up with toxic relationships. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we will feel the need to like stay in something even though there's no reason to stay. And I know a lot of people will say like, well, like, you know, you're just giving up on that person, like you should just talk to that person, and like I totally agree. But at the same time it's just like, why? Like I don't know. I don't know.
I think I don't know.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I think it's important to not just give up on your friends and stuff, but also like you don't need to be friends with every single person. And if someone is toxic, it's okay to remove yourself from that situation to better your own life. And also, people who you might have been very close with, you just end up outgrowing at certain points in your life, and that's okay.
I wouldn't even say like, that's the thing that I don't like. I'll say that. I don't think I ever outgrow people. I just think people lose touch.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm meaning. Like, throughout life, people grow apart.
Yeah.
And
when I hear the words like outgrow, though, like to me that sounds like I've grown up. Like I mean, used
sometimes
to be friends.
That's true.
Well, yeah, but like I think with that mentality, I feel like that is like if I grow out of a relationship with somebody, I feel like there's negativity in that, because that's like I've grown past you, or like I don't need you anymore because like you're killing my plant kind of thing, to put it in, you know, plant terms of growing.
And I can understand why
I don't
you might
know.
not like that,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's necessarily negative. Like sometimes the reason why people grow apart is because they just life and they just end up growing apart because both of them want different things, and or they're just because of circumstances of work or where they live, they just can't be around each other as much, and so you can't continue to grow that relationship the way you could have before. And other times relationships end up ending because you have grown into a point in your life where you're wanting to move one direction, and that person just they don't need to grow in that direction with you, but they're just not, and it's no longer healthy for you or that person to continue that relationship. And It's not that you're saying, haha, I'm better than you, and because of that I don't want to be around you, but you're just realizing the things you want for yourself, and you can't force someone to continue to grow with you in that aspect. And sometimes it's you just kind of have to move on, and it's not like you walk up to the person and say, we can't be friends anymore because I'm trying to be better me, but you just slowly kind of dissipate. And you, in that aspect, I call that outgrowing someone. Now you might end up becoming close friends again with them because they might outgrow themselves and grow more in themselves to the point where you guys you not just, is it healthy, but you actually legitimately reharness a relationship that you once had, because now you both, it's more genuine again. It's not like you're forcing something, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. I agree with that. I just think that with social media and stuff like that, it's given us like kind of how like what you were saying kind of like how what you were saying on Mondays, is that like you used to like keep the ratio kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? You said that on Mondays? Or did you say that in this one? I
said that on this one. I said that on this one.
Either way, you tried to keep the ratio. And I think at least for myself, I've grown out of that mentality, like, in my head. Because, like, I know that I'm not going to be... Like, I will always be friends with whoever wants to be friends with me. 100%. I love humans. Love people. I love my friends. I love the people who I have in my circle. But, like you're saying, like, everybody grows, like, in different ways and, like, you know, finds different interests and grows apart and stuff like that. But I think social media and stuff like that has really impacted the, like, I need to keep my followers kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, like, I have to keep people informed about my life or something like that, because that's one thing that I do a lot. Like, after I achieve something in my life, or, like, do something that I really found interest in,
you're like, I gotta put it on social media now.
Either that, or just, like, call and, like, narcissistically gloat about myself just because I want the attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
I want to be...
I do that all the time.
I want to be, like, acknowledged for, like, achieving something that I've done small, instead of just, like, putting my nose down and, like, really honing in something that is great and then gloating about it once I know it is, like, polished. Instead of just, like, I did this today, kind of thing. I'm also, like, really, like, critical and, like, kind of sinister to myself about my own achievements and stuff like that, because psychological things. And yeah, dude, I don't know.
I do feel like they're kind of, to tangent off that social media can sometimes make it easier to, like, keep relationships you don't need to, because you're like, it's easy to tell someone, like, oh yeah, I'm always there for you, or I got your back, or yeah, we should definitely hang out, and like, over text, but you're like, I'm never actually legitimately gonna
it's just
spend any time with you, or, like, try to harness that relationship. And so in that way, I feel like it builds a, like, a fake human connection. But when all of your connection with humans is that way, and then also, like, I don't know, the concept of, like, texting people 24/7. Like, if I have something I really, like, want to talk to someone about, especially if I don't live close to them, like, I'll text them. Like, we send each other memes all the time, or, like, if you got something you want me to watch or something on your mind, like, you'll text me. But most of the time, when we really want to talk, we just call each other.
Facts. And
outside of that, it's just kind of shitting, like, shit posting here and there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that I personally prefer that type of dynamic more than, like, I'm gonna text you every day, all day. And that was something I hated about, like, young relationships I had in high school. It was, like, the constant flow of interaction, to the point where, like, no actual human talks to each other that much. No, exactly. And I'm a talkative person. I love to talk. I will talk to someone for 4 hours instead of actually doing anything with them.
Same.
We'll just talk, and I love it. But I don't want to talk to someone literally every day, like,
to just hash out the same shit.
Yeah, every day, almost, like, throughout the day, 2 to 3 times each hour, all day, every day for months. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, fuck, dude. Like, I'll say good morning, or, like, even then, I don't even need to say good morning to you, because at that point I'm dreading talking to you. Like, I'll check up on you and send you a funny meme, and then let inspiration bring itself. But I don't want to feel obligated to talk to someone every day. And that's how, like, texting people in relationships when I was in high school, growing up on social media, felt sometimes. Was like overstimulation. It's like, no one does this. This isn't real.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And I might be alone in that, but I feel like I'm not.
No, you're not. I don't think you are. I think that there's, like, I think what you're, like, encapsulating is kind of like the cupcake phase in relationships.
Yeah.
Where it's just, like, every waking moment needs to be affirmation from the other side saying like, I cherish you and I want to hear you and like, how's your day been, and like, are you okay, like, I just want to be around you all the time and stuff like that. And I think slowly, of course, Cupcake Phase dies because
no one can keep that up forever.
I mean, I don't think it should be kept up forever.
No.
At all. But like, it's really different because that's like teenage love, and young love is always just hormonal stupidity. But yeah, dude. Watching The Social Dilemma again has like really made me go like, do I want social media on my phone still? And the answer is, of course, yes. Like, duh. Because I work a night shift and I use social media a lot of the times to, like, you know, pull through the boring parts because it's a night shift.
Yeah, you're working graveyard.
Exactly. Like, I need the dopamine. I need the entertainment. But at the same time, I also know that, like, always being stimulated with other people's creativity will kill mine. Because then when I get a flash of, oh, I have an idea, it's probably just somebody else's idea that I've thought is mine. Does that make sense?
Well, and not only that, but will you ever do anything with that idea? Because you're constantly stimulating yourself with other people's. So instead of spending the time you would working on your own ideas, you're just watching their ideas.
Yeah.
So the good ideas that you have that aren't just like rehashings,
swept under the carpet.
Yeah, like the inspiration goes away, and that's something I try to like. I know I do, and I try to write down my stuff, or like I try to rehash the same ideas repeatedly, so I will never forget them. But yeah.
Yeah,
I feel that.
I started working on like a short story, and I told you it, and I haven't worked on it in like 2 weeks. Just cause like I got the huge like, oh, this is burst, amazing, and I held that emotion for like 2 weeks straight, and like I worked on it a lot, and then all of a sudden the attention span just you know.
Yeah, the motivation.
I mean, not even that. Like, I still want to do it. Like, I am motivated to do it. But, like, my attention span for when I actually, like, sit down and write it, I just don't have patience for it. Like, I know that falls under motivation, but, like, I will get myself to do it. Like, I am motivated to do it. Like, I want to get it done. But, like, my attention span now for it is just so, like, minimalistic, because I expect to have that, like, big burst of, oh my gosh, this is so good, this is so clever kind of thing. But, like, it hasn't happened in a minute.
I get what you mean. I need to work on my universe more and start building it more and writing more stuff for it. So I understand, like, it comes in waves. And I think that's part of creativity. Sometimes you'll be more motivated to do it than others, and you'll get more excitement and more, that's all your attention will go to.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's, like, pushing through that and continuously trying to make something out of it is the important part. Not burning yourself out, but, like, not letting yourself just, like, let it fizzle, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. During the Social Dilemma, they talk about, one of the things that they talk about in it is that, like, because of our phones, like, we've lost the capability to, like, cope sometimes with, like, anxiousness and, like, fear.
Yep.
And
yep.
Like, all those other things that bring on, you know, like hateful inward thinking. And I recently went through kind of like a little woo, you know, kind of little episode moment a couple months ago. And it was I don't know if it was ever like directly correlated with like taking a break from social media, because like I know for a while like I was pretty like I don't want to be on social media anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And I was really about trying to stay off my phone a lot. Like the only time that I really use it was at work listening to a podcast. That's the only thing that I would use it for. Other than that, like I was never scrolling through anything or like anything like that. And like I said, I'm just kind of like spitballing. But like I wonder if me taking a break from social media had an impact of my mental instability moment. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I think it's very possible. I wonder that about myself too with like my anxiety. I wonder if sometimes the reason why I have so much anxiety is because I'm constantly
yeah.
Because I watched there's a therapist who has like he does Twitch streams and he does like YouTube videos and clips of it, and he was talking about like that young people especially, but in general people use social media and like YouTube and Netflix, just the constant availability to be stimulized whenever they're sad or anxious or mad to distract themselves.
Yeah.
And because they're constantly stimulating themselves and distracting themselves to ignore those emotions, that ends up boiling up and compounding to the point where then when they can't use it, or even when they can use that stimulus to distract themselves, it's not enough, and they end up having breakdowns kind of to a degree where like they, or even not just like boiling up where they have a massive breakdown, but to the point where when they do go get those feelings and they can't distract themselves, they don't know how to handle those feelings, and they don't know how to navigate those feelings and what to do with them, because every time they've gone through situations that they normally would have had to deal with them, they just distracted themselves and stimulated themselves to the point where they didn't need to listen to it. So like you would be anxious and then you would watch a 30-minute YouTube video and then you're not anxious anymore until the YouTube video is done, and then after the YouTube video the anxiety's back. And I know I've done that for myself. I mean,
same.
There's days where like this past Saturday, no, not Saturday, Friday, I went and got my hair cut, and I was anxious before I got my hair cut. I was really, really anxious. And then I got my hair cut and I was anxious during it. I went and mowed the lawn. I was super anxious. I had anxiety like the whole day from start to finish, to the degree where I just ended up I ended up like I was anxious the whole day until I went and hung out with like my group of friends to play some Magic. But I was just overly, to the point where like I tried to watch YouTube, I tried to watch Netflix to distract myself.
Just didn't happen. Just didn't work.
It didn't work. It was to the point where I had so much anxiety that the stimulus wasn't enough to distract me. I couldn't distract myself. And I know that's definitely something that's probably affected me through social media and stuff.
Yeah, and so having the constant stimuli and dopamine and Russian roulette, essentially.
Having a computer in my pocket.
Yeah, having the world in your pocket.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really, really crazy, dude. I could hear the wrap up voice. I heard it. But
you heard the well?
Yep, I heard it. One last little tidbit, because I'm gonna take a book. I'm gonna take a page out of the book you prefaced. Let's talk about some little tips and tricks. at the very end? Like what?
Yeah, just like the social dilemma.
No, exactly. Like, have you ever like what are things that work for you specifically with like trying to moderate your phone? Besides like what you said in Monday, like the notifications and stuff.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple things like in the social dilemma. He talks about like how one of the guys he was like that was a CEO of Pinterest was like, I tried to just willpower my way through and just not use it, and then I just ended up using it. And he's like and then I tried to brute force it where I just kept it out of my room, and I'm like, I will not use it after I get off work, but then I just ended up doing it. And so like I've tried like setting screen monitoring times so I know how much screen time I use. I've tried just telling myself I won't use it, and I'd say, and none of it usually end up works. I feel like I usually end up giving in. I feel like the thing that has worked out the most is just getting rid of it in cold turkey. Like, when I deleted Twitter, I totally forgot about Twitter. Like,
really?
And the reason why I deleted Twitter is I was on Twitter. I was scrolling through Twitter because I used to use Twitter more than any other social media. And I was on it, and I saw a tweet from Mr. Beast, and he said, I bet you can't use Twitter for more. He literally said, I bet you can't go without Twitter for more than 2 weeks.
And you were like, bet.
And it said something else, and I took offense to that, and I was like, bet, Mr. Beast, and I deleted Twitter right there off my phone. And then I totally forgot about using Twitter, and I stopped using it for like a year. Almost a year, I think. And then I reinstalled it again and got really addicted to it, and then I deleted it again. So then I don't have Twitter on my phone, and I just forgot I used it. And like the same thing with Facebook. Once I got rid of it, I just forgot about it.
It was gone.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing is like my brain is always kind of looking for that new thing, and my brain's always moving, that if it's not there, I won't look for it and I forget about it.
Yeah.
And so like,
well, if
deleting those apps usually help for me, I feel like is kind of like the biggest thing. And when my big thing is like, I just try not to use it when I'm around people.
Same.
Like if I'm spending time with people,
I try not to be on it at all when I'm around.
Exactly. Like when I'm having one-on-ones with people, I'm almost never on my phone most of the time, or I try not to be.
Yeah. Well, if you're someone who is like Daniel, and out of sight, out of mind works, just reiterate the challenge and say, I bet you can't get rid of said favorite or input favorite social media app for 2 weeks. Bet you can't do it. Boom, got him.
Yeah, you can't do it. Oh, actually, something else I've noticed, and this has helped me recently because I just reset my phone like 2 months ago, or a month ago, sorry. What I've noticed helps me is, and this wasn't done on purpose, is you know how like you'll organize your home screen so you'll have like folders with all your different apps.
Oh yeah, to like reorganize everything, switch it up.
Yeah, I can, if I go up on my Samsung, I can go to every app I have downloaded on my phone.
Yeah.
Half of those apps aren't even on my home screen though. So I've realized if I just take certain apps off my home screen, so I have to go into my app library to find them.
Yeah, your actual phone, not just your interface.
Yeah, like I actually have to like go up and search for the app through my phone instead of it just being on like my 3 home pages. I won't use it as much because then I'm having to go. I mean, if I still want it, I'll find it, but it's one of those things that it's not like I can just zombie unlock phone, reflex click, start scrolling. Because there's times where like I'll unlock my phone, go to Instagram, scroll, be like, nothing's good on Instagram, close my phone, close out of the app, lock my phone, 30
open
seconds
it back
later,
up, do the same thing.
30 seconds later, be like, I'm bored. Go
just muscle
unlock
memory
my
at
phone,
that point.
muscle memory, click Instagram, and then 30 seconds into me being on Instagram, be like, wait, I just literally closed out of this because I got bored.
And yeah, there are some times where I will open my phone, do the same exact thing that you just said, and then I'll lock my phone again, and then like I do a thing sometimes, even if I like don't open Instagram or anything like that, like I'll just unlock my phone and like, you know, go through the whole process. I'll scroll through my phone for no reason, look at all of my stuff to see if I have any notifications, and then I'll lock my phone. And then like 10 seconds later sometimes, or like however long my attention span lasts.
Within a couple minutes or whatever.
Or shorter. I'll just unlock my phone for no reason and look around and be like, what can I do on here? Oh, nothing. Put it down. But
and then it's almost like your muscle memory, like zombie mind.
Yeah, have you heard
You're not doing it intentionally, but you're just doing it, you know? Like subconsciously your brain is like, you're bored, do something. And then your subconscious mind's like, well, my black screen phone thing here usually has something to do. Click it, check it, you know?
Yeah. Have you heard of like Ghost Ringer?
Oh, yes.
Where you think you hear your phone, or you think you feel your phone vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
So you like pull your pants, or you pull your pants out of your phone. You pull your phone out of your pants to check, and there's no notification or anything like that, but your brain like tricked you into thinking that you've been notified or that you've been called or texted, because your brain is so wired to like, it's been 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes. Like, you know, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, that happens to me all the time. I never get ghost rings because I don't have like my ringer on, but I get ghost buzzes, like, because I always have my phone on vibrate all the time. Like, dude, my phone doesn't even need to be in my pocket sometimes, and I will feel a vibration in my left thigh where my phone is constantly. Like, there's so many times where like I will feel the sensation of my phone buzzing, like I got a text, and I will hit my pocket, because I do a thing where like I slap my pocket to feel my phone, and then I go into my pocket to grab my phone, and I'll slap my pocket to feel my phone, and my phone's not even there.
Yeah.
And then I start searching for my phone. Dude, it's so weird. So I totally get what you mean.
1 second. I'm looking something up.
And like the same concept, the TV show Uploaded on Amazon Prime. We're not sponsored, but you should definitely check out that TV show. They do a thing on there where it's like a future society, and they also have the same thing where they call it ghost pings, because your phones are like a bracelet watch on your phone on your wrist, and they hold their hand up like in an L formation to make a phone screen. And she takes off her bracelet and she keeps doing an L formation to bring up her phone, but she no longer has her phone, and they call it ghost ping.
I love it. So there's this psychology experiment called Pavlov dog.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're
talking about.
Yeah, you ring a bell. You give the dog a treat, and then every time the dog hears the bell, it will start to it'll start to drool because it's expecting the treat, right? So humans have essentially been Pavloved.
Yeah.
To say like, we hear the notification, or we think we hear the buzz, and we instantly get the yes, endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, all those good chemicals in the brain shoot off. Then we open our phone to actually see nothing, which then counterbalances with sadness.
Exactly, because like it's what it is you take a controlled variable that has nothing to do with like it has nothing to do with the situation you're trying to get it attached to. So for example, the controlled variable was the bell in this situation. And then I can't remember the exact words of it because my brain from psychology class is going away. But then you take the manipulated variable is, I think is what it's called, which in this case will be the meat. And then the next variable, I can't remember what the other variable is called, but pretty
essentially
much
just the consistent one.
The response to the meat, the response variable is the dog drooling, and every time, and the bell has nothing to do with the meat or the dog drooling. The meat is what makes the dog drool, but to give them the meat, they ring the bell. So then they're attaching the controlled variable and the manipulated variable to each other. And so then the bell is always there, and then eventually they take the manipulated variable out, so it's just the controlled variable. And that's what causes, at that point, because they've attached the hearing of the bell to that manipulated variable so much that you don't even need the manipulated variable to then consistently get them to get that response to the controlled variable.
Yeah. It is amazing to tie it into a TV
happens
show.
To Dwight in Office.
I was going to say, Barney does it to Marshall in How I Met Your Mother.
Really? What? I don't remember that bit. What was it?
He said, achoo. Anybody want to go get sushi?
Oh,
every time he sneezed, he would say, anybody want to go get sushi? And then Marshall would be like, oh, I haven't had that in so long. And they'd go get sushi. So one day he says, achoo. And then Marshall says, oh, hey, we should go get this. And then everybody goes. And then that's the episode where Barney tries to get the deal with Lily so he can grab her boobs.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's amazing.
I remember.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
That's a good one. Well, you wanna wrap this up, my dude?
Yes, sir.
Take us home.
If you made it this far, you got chops, kid. Good on you. It'll probably be like an hour 17, hour 20, because there's a little. I can shave it down to that.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like an hour 20ish. You'll know. You'll see the runtime on the video.
Yeah. Thanks for making it this far. This is pretty much what Wednesday's videos are gonna be. It's just like us hanging out, talking about topic per last video. And they'll be different. Like this one was really correlated to the social dilemma, because social media is such a big part of our lives. But like, let's say we do one on the new Batman movie, right? And we just get inspired to talk about completely different things besides Batman, but that's what Batman kind of made us think about or something like that. Sick. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to try to correlate them, but sometimes they won't be, because you can't correlate everything to a movie.
Exactly. Well, I mean, yeah.
You can try, but there's going to be some movies that don't necessarily bring such a profound topic like this one does.
Exactly. This one really, really hits.
Especially because if you've listened to this, you know how much Eric and I could rant about social media.
And just fall into just fucking social media.
Yeah, this isn't the first episode that we've spent like 30 minutes plus talking about this. It's the first fully dedicated, but it won't be the first. It's not the first time we've talked about this subject, and it
definitely will not be it will not be the last.
No. It will probably be the last episode of the podcast.
I will always rant. I will always rant and always defend how humans are not humans anymore. We have lost connectivity between strangers, and it makes me sad.
And hopefully we will learn to earn it back.
Facts. So if you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, share us with some friendos, even if it's through passing of small conversation. That'd be really cool. And yeah, I hope y'all, whoever listening to it, have a good day. And try to stay off your phones as much as possible because human interaction is important. And yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bum, 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 bum.